All right, all right. We are live, and we're going to wait for folks to come on into the room and join me and Kurundi Daniels for a radical self-care talk.
Yes, we are.
Come on in, you guys. Come on in.
Look like we got a couple of viewers.
Got a couple of viewers. Okay, let me see if I can see who they are. Yeah, I'm not seeing I'm not seeing the comments yet, but I see that there are 3 people on.
Look like we just lost them.
So we'll wait till some. Oh, there's Natasha. Hey, Natasha, welcome, welcome. Come on in, girl. All right. I think I'm gonna go over to the. Event page and just put a little announcement there. Hey, Alex. It's good to see you. Welcome. Yes, 2 people streaming simultaneously. It can be done.
Yay!
I'm gonna get it together in a minute. I'm doing 3 things at once.
Hello, ladies. Maybe we'll get some gents up here too. What you think, Ursula?
Get some what?
Some gentlemen. You think we get some gentlemen up here too? Some gents.
Yes, that's true. I absolutely, absolutely. Self-care is for all.
Yes, definitely.
Hey, Marinette, good to see you, sister. Thank you for joining us. You guys, if you know of somebody that needs to hear this very honest and open talk, share this live on your page. Invite others to come in. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for the love. Thank you. I appreciate it.
How do you pronounce her name? Ask.
Okay, I'm just gonna wait just a couple of more minutes because I want to.
Bye.
Marionette.
Bye.
Marionette.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Marinette. She just put the pronunciation. Hey, Sheila.
Okay.
Welcome, girl. Good to see you.
Is it all Sheila?
Mute my screen. Okay. No, it's a
See,
different
you have
Sheila.
they say you have feedback on yours.
We got feedback. How are you guys hearing me? Is there like an echo feedback going on? Let me know if you can hear us and see it's okay. I have feedback? Okay. Okay, let me do something about this feedback. Hold on a second. Okay, what about now? Can you guys hear me? Is there still feedback? Yes. You know what? Be Live TV, that has been one of the complaints about this platform, that there is an echo. I did an interview with someone else and we had a big echo. So hopefully it won't be too annoying to you guys. Turn the speakers down when I talk. Okay, I can do that. Hi, Princina. Welcome. All right. I know that you guys' time is really precious, and I want to make sure that we get to everything that we want to talk about tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Feel free to share, to invite, whatever. People can catch the replay at another time. So, hello, Adrian. Welcome. All right. So, welcome to everyone that's taking time out to come and just hang out with me and Kurundi as we share a radical self-care decision, the year of me. My name is Ursula Foster, and I'm a licensed massage therapist. And I started this self-care aware movement because I was seeing people, especially women. I know there's some gentlemen on here, but women who are just burning out from giving and giving and giving, doing good works, doing wonderful works in their communities, doing wonderful work in their families, but are exhausted or angry or sick, just all kinds of things. And I was like, there has to be a way to take care of others and take care of yourself as well. For you to remain whole without breaking yourself into a billion pieces, trying to be everything and do everything for everyone all the time. So I want to introduce to you a very, very dear and wonderful friend. Her name is Kurundi Daniels. She is also a licensed massage therapist in Columbus, Georgia. And when I first met her, oh my goodness, I just fell in love with her spirit because she is very giving and very loving and just always there doing for everyone. Um, but I noticed that she was running out of fuel, for lack of a better term. She was kind of running on empty. You know, the last time I went to go, not the last time, but the time before the last time I saw her, she was running. I barely got to talk to her and sit down and just hug on her face and just talk and catch up with her because she was running to do things for other people. And so she has made a decision in her life to take the year 2017 as her radical self-care year. And I have seen some changes. And I was like, you know what? I need to sit down and talk to this woman and see what is going on here and how her changes have affected her life and what her life looked like before and what's going on now. And I'm just so thrilled and honored that she agreed to share her heart with me and others and to put it on a platform like this because I know so many other people really need to hear what she has to say. So without further ado, I want Kurundi, if you want to just say a couple of words, introduce yourself to the group and, you know, just kind of break the ice a little bit. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you, Ursula. First of all, can you hear me okay? Because I know we was having problems with my uh, feedback. Are we good? Can you hear me? You can. Okay, so you can hear me. Perfect, perfect. Welcome, ladies. Thank you. First of all, Ursula, thank you for having me on today, and thank you,
I
God.
can.
Thank you for thinking of me, right? For your first segment on this radical self care. I tell you what, it has been a radical lifestyle in the last 7 years. I would say 7 years of going without stopping. Thank you, ladies. Thank you that you can hear me. And like Miss Ursula said, without me getting into the interview, I know she has questions for me. But 7 years of nonstop. I retired from the military and I did not stop. And it gets to a place where, either you burn out or you leave this world. So I had to make some changes. And within this interview, we'll definitely get into the nuts and the bolts of what happened in my life and why I decided to say, you know what, it's time to stop and to learn how to breathe again. It looks like there's a big
That is
delay.
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So let's get right to the questions that I have. Let's see. Corindy, what did your life look like? What did your life look like before you self-care year?
What did my life look like? Oh, wow. Let me put it in my terms, more so I didn't have a life. I thought I had a life. I thought I had a life prior to this year. Um, but I wasn't living. I was doing, I was surviving. I thought I was thriving. And I say
Mhm.
that because when I first started again, when I retired from the military and I left and I started to do the things that God had called me to do, pouring back into the lives of women and doing retreats and doing events and doing massages and doing all types of things that God had called me to do. In the beginning, in those years, it was great. And, I started a women's group and I was teaching them how to take time for themselves. And in the first couple of years, it was okay. But then, you get into the nuts and bolts of things and you get so deep into what you're doing, you're forgetting about, I ended up forgetting about myself. So in that first 3 years, I think things were great. But from year 4, 5, 6, and 7, I think, like you said I was running out of fuel. I was giving from myself and not giving for what God has given me to give to people. And so I was using all of my fleshly and all of my all of what I knew to give, and not what the Spirit has given me to give to the world. And I was using my own fuel. So to answer that question, my life was not my life. It wasn't a life at all. It was just constant movement, running. Didn't have time for myself. I didn't have time for my family. I didn't have time for anyone. Really, literally.
Hmm. Well, that takes me to a piece of, you kind of answered it already, but at the end of the day, because that is what I look at when I do my work. At the end of the day, how do I feel? So I want you to answer that. When you were doing all that running around and doing all of that you were doing, how did you feel at the end of the day?
Hmm. Wow. At the end of the day, I was so exhausted, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, gone. Gone. When I say gone, just gone. And you think that you can go home and you can fall out and you can go to sleep and you can wake up and you can do the next thing the next day and do it over and over. But when you're pouring into people's lives and when you have people around you all the time and you're soaking up their energy and they're soaking up your energy, and if you're not pouring back in the proper way, in a good way, you're not refueling. So my end of my day was just exhausting to the point where I don't want to get too close in the area because I can keep talking and talking, but my day was a day where I would just, wake up,
Mm-hmm.
go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up. And there was even a place where I would like to share where I lived in an
No.
apartment. Can I go? I lived in an apartment. I lived in this apartment for 2 years. And 6 months before I was about to move out, I realized I was living in the dark. It was a bottom floor. This apartment did not have any windows except for in my bedrooms and in my son's bedroom. It was a dark spot and it was very depressing. And I was living there a year and a
Mm-hmm.
half and did not even realize it because I was constantly gone, doing. I would just come home, lay down, get up, go, leave, come back. But I was just constantly doing and did not even realize my space. I was living in a place of, put it like this, my apartment reflect my life. Even though I was giving, my apartment reflected where I was
Mm-hmm.
in my life, and I didn't even realize it at that time.
Ooh,
Gone.
wow. Now that's deep. Yes. Even in all of your giving, Kurundi, I talk a lot in my group about being on autopilot. We're just doing things on autopilot. We're not being mindful of what's happening. Even though you were doing good works, you weren't in a mindful place with it. It was just get up, go do it, go to bed, get up, go do it, go to bed, like kind of mindlessly. It kind of came to that point, even though that was not your intention. That's not what you meant to be doing, but that's how it ended up being. Wow.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
So, so how was your health affected? How did it come out physically? Because we hear about all these illnesses and diseases and things that are happening right now in our women, in our men. Just how was your health affected?
Physically, my body took on what was going on with me internally, what was going on with me spiritually. I'm big on whatever's happening in our lives spiritually, you will see it manifest in your physical being. And it hits your spiritual being before it even hits your physical being. And for me, um, I would just say, I was literally dying. I was literally dying.
Mhm.
I hadn't been, mind you, like I said, I was been military. I hadn't been for a checkup in a couple of years. When I went back to finally go get a checkup, my doctors was like, "Where have you been in the last 4 or 5 years?" I'm like, "I've been living. I'm good. I'm living holistically. I'm living holistically." But when they checked me, my blood pressure was up. I was pre-diabetic. I was shocked. I already knew that I was gluten intolerant, you know, celiac, all that stuff was starting to come up. I gained a lot of weight. My mental clarity was just whack. Emotional state was, with all the other things that was going on in my life was breaking. And I wasn't even me myself. I would just look at myself some days and some of the things that, I would say or react to other people. I knew it wasn't me anymore. It wasn't me anymore. So physically, my health was just going down. To slow it down. You got to stop. You got to stop. But I'm like, no, I gotta do this. And somebody called me. Somebody call and say, I want you to speak here. Or somebody, I want you to do this here. I want you to, and I would just go and I would just go and go until I had no other choice but to stop.
All right. So, Kurundi, can you still hear me? Because I had to switch from my phone to the computer.
I
Um,
can.
okay. How were your personal relationships affected?
Wow. When I was in a good place, and no, I'm not perfect at all. None of us are perfect. But when I was in a good place in my life and doing all the right things, my relationships reflected that. When people saw me, they saw the goodness of who I was. I saw the goodness of who they were. I wasn't judgmental, wasn't, just into all that stuff. But I noticed throughout the years, the more I gave and the more I gave and the more I was doing, the more tired I was becoming. It was like because I was changing, I was getting more snappy. People was calling and asking for things where I would still do it, but now I'm doing it with resentment. I'm doing it. I'm like, okay, what about me? I need some time for myself. Or if I was to say no, people look at you like, Kurundi says no. She always help. Wow. Now she's changing up on me. So it's not that I was changing up. I was just becoming tired. And in those
Mhm.
tired states, you have your closest people who will look at you and be like, "You changing." And for me, I was like in the inside like a little child crying out saying, "Don't you see me dying? And you can't even see me and you're around me every day." Every day it's easy for you to pull from me. But when I'm asking from your help, and it may have not been out of my mouth, but you
Wow.
see how things are changing in me, but you can't even see that. You can't see how I'm dying within the inside. So when I finally explode, things is not, people take it in the wrong way. Relationships throughout that time had a lot of breakdowns. I had a lot of breakdowns in some of our relationships. Thankfully, they're coming back together. Thank you, God, that they are coming back together. And I do have some great friends. But the thing is, during those times, I cannot be, and I would say this to anyone, you cannot be good to anyone if you're not good to yourself. You cannot be good to anyone when you're not good to yourself. And sometimes the closest ones to us are the ones that's pulling from us and don't realize, and they may be doing it in love, but don't realize how much they're taking and pulling from you. So my relationships in that time was affected a lot. It really was affected a lot. Uh, but God, I have to say again, but God.
Well, that's a great segue into the next part of our discussion, where even though you had personal relationships that were kind of breaking down and your body was tired, a lot of things were happening. But what was the one deciding factor that made you say, okay, that's it, enough. It's time for a change. It's time for me to start taking care of me. What was that straw that broke the camel's back?
Actually, it was two things. Me and a couple of my friends had a business together, the house of my aunt, and we were out actually having a poetry out on our in the parking lot of our building, and we was having a poetry night, and things was going great, doing what Kurundi does, being the host and all this other stuff. And I walked into the building, and my phone was ringing. And when I picked up the phone, it was a phone call from my father. And my dad was in the hospital. He was in the hospital, but it wasn't anything that we were concerned about, some things that he needed to take care of. So I talked to him briefly on the phone on that day, and was expected to talk to him again. I said, Dad, I love you. Got this event going on. I got these people outside, and I'll talk to you, a little later. And hung up the phone, didn't think anything of it. The next day, I got a phone call and my father died, had passed away. And and I still hear in my ear, my dad always say, Yo, Kurundi, make time, make time. You're never too busy. You're never too busy for your family. You're never too busy for A, B, and C, and D, whatever. And I got to speak to him, but I would never speak to him again. And I could have spoken to him even more at that time. So when my father passed away, I said, okay, something got to give. I left, that was July 31st. My father's funeral was a week and a half later. Went to his funeral, came back, and maybe 2 weeks later, my business, my partner's business, all our business, it burnt down. Had a fire in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, got a phone call and said that the building was on fire. Those two things
Mhm.
brought me down to a place where, you know what, is it even worth it? If I sit back and I think about all the things that I've done, all the things, I don't regret the things that I've done. But if I sit back and think about all those things, could you have made time? Could you have made time for yourself and for your family and all those things? So to answer your question, Those are the two things that said, Kurundi, you got to stop. You got to reevaluate who you are, and what you're giving and what you're giving to this world. You're portraying self-love, self-care, holistic lifestyle. But is that what is that what people see? And another thing, anybody that called me, inboxed me, saw me, the word that was connected to my name was busy. And it became a curse to me, a curse word. It's like, Kurundi, you're busy, because you fit me on your calendar. Kurundi, this, you're busy. And I couldn't stand hearing that connected to me. I'm busy? Whoo. That's a curse word to me. I never want to be busy. I want to be productive, but I don't want to ever be in a place in my life that I'm just busy. So those were the two things. Those were the two things. Mm.
Yes. Yes, I talk about all the time the romance of busyness. You know, people get on Facebook or Instagram or whatever they're on, and they're like,
Right.
yeah, I'm busy, I'm grinding, I'm hustling, I'm getting it done. And it's like people are applauding them for being, busy and working and burning the midnight oil and burning the candle at both ends. It's like, they get big cheers for that. But I'm like, I just never ever felt that way. I'm like, yeah, we all have things to do. We all get busy. Yes, that's natural. But when are you pulling back? When are you taking the time to not be busy? And are you comfortable with not being busy? Can you sit still for 10 minutes and not do anything? Is that possible? You
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So my next question is, what is the first step? So you had this straw that broke the camel's back, two straws, and I would have been down at one straw. One of those things would have put me out. But you had two major things happen, and then you made this decision that, okay, that's enough. So what was the actual first step that set you on this path of this radical self-care journey that you're on right now?
When I came back from my dad's funeral and had to deal with the fact of my business burning down, had to deal with the fact that partnerships were starting to break up, deal with the fact that you lost dollars, had to deal with the fact that I'm in the process of moving from one apartment to the next, and so many other things that was happening that I can't even, it's countless things was happening at that time. Oh, and also I was in the middle of doing my 5th annual Allow Me to Pour Into You event where I had to pour into the lives. Now I'm at the place where what the word you just hear me say, I had to pour into. Before it was allow me to pour into you, because that was my spirit. Allow me to pour into you. But this year, after all of that, I felt like I had to, because this was my 5th annual. People were looking for this event every year. So this event was happening right after my dad's funeral. This was my dad's funeral, this event, the fire. All these things were happening. Transitioning was happening in the business itself. Friendships was just up and down. And Ursula, it was one day. It was one day. You had came. You said the last time you saw me, I was moving. I didn't have time. I was giving you a hug. I remember we sat there. You gave me your book, and I was so happy. And I said, Ursula, I need this in my life. But even in that, When you gave me the book, I put it in my office. It was in the building that burned, but the book did not burn up. Still got the book. And didn't get a chance to read it. Still didn't get a
You were
chance to read
running.
it. I was running. And I was sitting in my house one day. The part that we had two buildings. We had the building that burned and we had another building that was written out. So I was sitting in my apartment one day and I was tired. It was almost Christmas. Christmas is coming around, trying to figure out what am I going to do for the holidays. Just strung out, basically. My mind was gone. Mentally, I didn't have any nothing to give. Emotionally, I was burnt out. Spiritually, dead. Spiritually, I was dead. Physically, there was nothing. I was sitting on my bed and I started to read your book and I was going through and I actually read it through. And what really did it for me, voice said, Kurundi, let it go. Let everything go. Let everybody go. Let it all go. And you will not go into 2017 holding on to any of it. In the first point of that, it was like, let it go. You mean let my businesses go, let people go, let what people think go, let, this responsibility go, let this committee go, let this board member go, let all this go. Let it go. But a peace came over me, Ursula, so I started to cry. And I said, you know what? It's either me or all that stuff. And after that, I got so happy that I called you. I think I picked up the phone. I said, I got to call Ursula. I just got to call you, girl, just to thank you for your book and just because it was just at that time for me. Before, I probably would have read it and read through it and not absorb it, but it was a time in my life that I needed it then. And I needed that. I needed that. Let it go. Let it all go. Didn't matter because God had always told me, Kurundi, I got you. The things that you're doing is your purpose. And I will provide for you. But you got to fall into me first. You can't do it. I got to do it. So you let this go and you got to trust me. You got to trust me that I'm going to make it happen for you. So when I hung up that phone with you, Ursula, I called the guy, the landlord for that building, called him and said, look, do what the hell you need to do. I'm letting the building go. Do it. I got this two buildings from you. I'll keep the other one. If you need to sue me, sue me. Do what you're not going to do what you need to do. He gave me some choice words. I hung up with that. I was good with that. I was supposed to go somewhere with a friend, decided I didn't want to go, and I end up, let me tell you how God works. I went on a retreat. I didn't know where to go, and I looked on the email, and there was a retreat called Cultivating Stillness in a Chaotic World. Came to my email, and this retreat was free, and they only had 3 slots left. They was giving this, and it was over the New Year. And I called them. They had that slot for me. I went to this retreat, and it was a meditation retreat for over the New Year for 4 days of silence. I told everybody, I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing that with you. I'm going by myself. I'm going to take this journey alone, And I got some riffraff from some and some from not. Some people understood, and there was a lot who didn't understand. And I went away for 4 days by myself in pure silence. And there is where clarity came, and I heard his voice again. I heard God's voice so clear. And the story goes on, but I don't want to go more into that. And I'm sure the story goes on from there, but that's where it was maybe a little after Christmas, maybe December. I don't even know where in December, 25th, 26th. I'm not sure. 20, maybe in the 18th, right after my birthday, actually. Right after my birthday, I decided to just, I had to go. I had to go. I had to go on this retreat. I didn't know the people. I was out in these mountains. No one knew me. I didn't know them. And I went there blind, empty. My vessel was done. And I went there. I just needed silence. My spirit needed calmness and silence.
Wow. That is amazing. That's amazing. And you just mentioned something about something that a lot of people that message me and ask me questions, and that's about friends and family and the backlash that they get. They're so afraid that they're going to have to cut ties. They're going to have to, they might upset their family, disrupt their household routine or whatever. So, how did you deal with that backlash and people not understanding what you're trying to do, how you're trying to save yourself?
You know what I've learned about that? And I have to, because I've learned that, I have to be careful not to do it to others. We have to be careful not to do this thing to others. Because what I've seen in life where sometimes even the closest of your friends and family members, they say, take care of you. Put you first. Do what you need to do. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. But when you do it and it may cost them something or it may interrupt something in their lives, then it's more you're selfish. You're self-absorbed. You don't see what's going on with me. So I've learned
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes in life people would say, take care of you as long as it's not affecting them. If it's affecting them,
Mm-hmm.
then they change it on you. Oh, you so selfish. What about this? How can you do this? But no, I'm trying to take care of me. And me taking care of me is,
Right.
this is what I need to do. I need to shut it down. I don't need the phone calls. I don't want to hang out. I don't want to do a girls' day. I don't want to. That was for me. I don't want to do a girls' day. I don't want to do a girls' trip. I don't want to. I want to come home and go to sleep and turn my lights out. I want to just have quietness. I don't want to answer the phones. I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to respond to this. This is how I'm saving my own life. But when it affects, but when it affects the other
Mm-hmm.
person, it becomes a backlash to you. So even in that, I had to even bite down and say, you know what? Either you love me where I am or you don't love me at all. I'm not doing this is not about you. What's going on in my life right now is not about you, and you. It's about me. And right now, I'm fighting for my own life right now. I
Right.
can't breathe. I'm struggling. And this is the only way I can catch my breath. It's just like when you're suffocating and
Mm-hmm.
somebody's you're fighting. Don't hold me. I'm trying to catch my breath and you're holding me down with so you say your love. Love is pure. Love let go. Love lets go. It let things go. It doesn't suffocate you.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, a lot of people were sour. There was some sour folks out there. But it was okay. It was okay for me. And they eventually came around. Some of them anyway. And those who didn't come around, oh well, I mean that's just what it is. I can't even connect to that because I can't connect to the old me would have been, oh my gosh, I hurt their feelings. Oh my gosh, let me go fix that. I need to fix myself. I can't fix that. Let me fix me.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Wonderful. So, since you have started this self-care journey and you've made the decision, you've gone through the backlash with family and friends, you're taking all these steps. What has been the most significant change since you started the journey?
My time. My time. Before, 24 hours was not enough for me. I needed God change 24 hours to 48 hours in a day. Now, 24 hours is plenty time for me. I took control of my schedule. I took control of me. I learned not to do anymore. I don't do
Wow.
anymore. I be. I stay in the moment. And then people ask, what do you mean you don't do anymore? I let everything go. The only thing that I do now is my day-to-day massage therapy job, my bread and butter. And even in that, I'm not chasing, and not even that I was chasing money at the time where you got a new business and everybody that calls in, you're booking them because you want to have a full booking day and you want to make that money. I only require 4 clients a day. And that's the most that I ever want. 2 clients is good for me. 2 clients is good for me. So I control that so I have time to come in, prepare my space for these precious souls that's coming to me, be all that I can be for them, make sure I'm good and rested, take care of them, go home early enough, eat a proper meal, go to sleep at a proper time, get up 5 o'clock in the morning, go work out. My time, I'm doing so much more in my day that a couple of months ago, I'm like, I don't have time for any of that. I don't have time to do this. So my daily routine, I get up 5 o'clock, I go work out, I get up, leave from workout, 6 o'clock in the morning, I do a little quiet time, I eat breakfast, I prepare myself for work, go in at 9 o'clock, and take care of what I'm taking care of there, come home, maybe work out that evening, go home. And when I tell you my day is so peaceful, time. And with that, when I decided to let it all go, and remember when I said God said he will provide, when I was out there grinding, when I was out there hustling, doing what I do, as we say, business was good. But now my business is great. People are calling. I don't know half these people. They finding stuff on websites and I didn't even have a website. I'm like, I don't even have a website. What do you mean you found me on the website? I found you here. I found you there. I'm doing this. Can you talk to me? Can you counsel me? Can you do this? People are coming from all types of places and I am scheduling them in on my time. I'm not chasing them. Fear and that scarcity where you got to get them all in. No, I don't have. My time is my time. And I have to take care of me. I got to be able to have some time for myself. I've adopted bubble baths. I remember times I ain't been in the tub in years to shower. Now I have to get in the bath at least twice a week just to quiet myself.
Yeah.
Just to quiet myself. My bubble bath, my wine, my music, my meditation, all of that. And not only that, I decided I only want to work 3 weeks out of the month. And 1 week is about replenishing myself. So I decided, God, okay, if this is what you call me to do, I work 3 weeks, and that 1 week I have to dedicate that time to refuel myself, replenish myself, do what it is that I love to do, which is travel. Now I get a week to travel. Like right now, I'm in Tacoma, Washington. I closed my business down for a week, and I'm here with my grandkids. I stay here for a week, go back, and I do what I do for 3 weeks, And then maybe I'll go do a retreat somewhere for a weekend, or maybe I'll do something else. And then you say, well, Kurundi, well, how do you do that if you're not working like that? How are you getting the money? I don't worry about that. God provides. And that's what he's been doing since I decided to let go. January, I decided to let go. And he's been providing for me day to day to day, that I'm able to work 3 weeks out the month and take a week off and travel or do whatever I need to do when it comes to my family. And I have to trust that he will continue. And I can't go back the other way. I can't go back the other way. And whatever God has told me to do or tell me to do, I got to do it that way. And I can't let people or society tell me how to even run my business. They say you need to be networking on social media. You need to be doing this. You need to be going to this networking group. Your network is your net worth. I'm going to tell you, my network is God's worth. When I tell you the brother been providing, the sister been providing, however, whatever you want to call, been providing. And I know this is to be true. It's oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can go on and on with this. I've never been more happier. I've never been more happier. I've never been more at peace. I've never been more
Wow.
free. I feel so free. I don't feel like I need anything. Do I have the biggest house? Is my bank account booming? No. But my 2 fish and my 5 loaves of bread
Mm-hmm.
is just enough for me. Just enough for me. And that's just for me.
Yes. I am loving it. Oh, girl, you about to have me up here crying. Oh, this is wonderful. Okay, so now, so we have had people who are listening to your story, Kurundi, and they are like, yes, I want a piece of that. Yes, I want to be able to control my schedule. I want to be able to have that peace of mind at the end of the night. You know, I want to take my life back. So for those people out there who have all those questions, what advice do you give them as far as starting on that self-care journey? Maybe it won't be as radical as yours, but what is the even small step that they can take right now to get on that journey?
The one thing I tell people, and sometimes they don't want to hear this, but you got to start off first is trusting God. You got to trust your higher source. That's the first thing. You got to trust that he's going to take care of you. For one, if it's especially if you're grinding for your business, your job and stuff like that, you got to trust that God is going to take care of you, especially if you are in your calling, if you're in what it is that God has you to do. That's number one. Two, you got to learn how to let it all go. Am I a religious person? No, very spiritual, but I know you got to learn how to let these things go. These material things go so that you can live. Sometimes these material things, these businesses or this house or this car note or this is weighing us down so much. We don't even know how to live because those are the things that we say is our life. That's not our life. Our life is peace, joy, happiness, peace of mind, love. All those things are free. And people say, well, Kurundi, okay, I get it. You know, you on this quest and it ain't just that easy. I can't get no other advice than that, because when I tried it the other way, please order, please order the book. When I tried it the other way, it just didn't work for me. When I tried it the way society say do it, it just didn't work for me. For me, Kurundi, it just didn't work for me. I was pulling too much from my cup. Look, I was pulling too much from my cup. You are pulling too much from your cup. We got to learn how to let go and let God. Let go and let your higher source. Let go and let God do these things. A lot of you guys already hear the whispers. Your gut is already telling you what you need to do, but you're afraid to do it because you think you're going to fall in your face. So that means you don't trust the voice that's talking to you. You got to get to a place where you're quiet and you got to hear what it is that God is telling you. Because you got to. So you want the pebble to throw at you. Then after God throw the pebble, then he'll throw the stone. After the stone, he'll throw a brick. From the brick, the whole building fall down on you. And that's what happened to me. The whole building fell down on me. And I had to pick it up. You don't want to get to that point. And thank God I still had my life and my mind and my sanity when all that was going on. Thank God he kept me to even get to this place. He kept me. So the advice is trust God. Trust what you hear, what your gut say. If he says let it go, let it go. If you can't, no, okay, you can't take a week off. I get it. Take 30 minutes of time for yourself. Take a walk, maybe for lunch. Instead of getting on social media or whatever, go take a walk. Go take a walk in the park. Maybe one weekend out of the month, you go put yourself in a hotel room. Maybe whatever it is. If you can't get out in the hotel room, maybe on Sundays at this time at 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you run your bubble bath or whatever. The bubble bath is just my thing. And you close your door, you put a sign on the door and say, "Do not disturb." Whatever you have to do to get it started, you just start. And then you grow from that. You just grow from that. Yes, mine was a little bit more radical. I'm just like that. I got to do it. I'm going to do it. But you may want to start in baby steps. But you got to start. Because I'm telling you, I'm sure a lot of people in your lives right now, it's already telling you, you better take care of yourself. Your health is telling you, your spirituality is telling you, your emotional state is telling you, your relationships around you, some of your household is telling you, your house is a wreck. It's so cluttered. You can't think. Because our physical things represent where we are. Here, in our mind, in our hearts, in our spirit. Start somewhere.
Yes, yes, yes. That's what I like to tell, women when they ask me about self-care. There's a lot of misconceptions about it that, it's this big time-consuming, expensive thing. And I'm trying to get out with my self-care aware movement that self-care is in simple things. It's simple tools. It's doing something, a little bit of something for yourself every day, not sometimes, not every now and then, every once in a while, but creating a routine every day in your life that is an activity that refills your cup every day, so that it's deficit. You're always refilling your cup, so that it's always full, so that you can always continue to give out and not feel exhausted, sick, tired, angry, all these other things, all these other ways that burnout shows up for itself. So it's at 6 o'clock. everybody, and I want to thank you so much for this time. I really wanted to open it up to questions. So if Kurundi, if you don't mind, if everyone doesn't mind, if maybe we can take 5 minutes, maybe ask a question, a burning question that someone might have. If you do have a question, just put it in all caps so that I can see it really quickly. And if you have a question for Kurundi, go ahead and ask that question in all caps for me. I think you answered everything. You answered a couple of questions that I didn't even have to ask. So
I probably did. You know how I get. Mm-mm.
no, I love it. I love it. It's great. Okay. Well, if you guys if no one has any questions, I am going to let you know go because I know time is precious. Kurundi, my love, my dear, my darling, thank you so much for taking time out and sharing your journey. I'm looking forward to the end of the year. I want to see all the really magnificent things that happens to you on this journey. And I just want to continue to encourage everyone out there. Self-care. It's about health now. It's about your life now. It's not just a manicure, pedicure once in a while. It's your life. It's your health. It's everything. It's important. It should be important. It should be priority. You should be a priority. So thank you so much, everyone, for
And
joining. I appreciate you and have a good night.
Ursula, can you hear me? Could you hear me?
I can.
I wanted to plug one thing before you hung it up, if possible.